calling this a roundtable. Your participation is what makes it a roundtable, because I have no guest speakers lined up. It's just me and you, and maybe it would have been better titled a working session, because that's what I want to do with you. The work I've done, and many of you doing in the world of language testing, inspired me to take this step and make this available to you. Well, I hope that we can create a community of interest and action to explore and respond to issues that involve language and testing from the perspective of language assessment enterprises. So this is the ATP universe. It's the Association of Test Publishers. And so that is the perspective that we default to when we're doing ATP activities. That doesn't mean we don't bring in perspectives of test takers and clients and users of information and tests that involve language. But the ATP is the aegis under which we are doing this work. I wanted to talk first, though, about some education division issues, if I may. We'll be having an education division meeting sometime in November to elect a new secretary. And I hope that those of you here will consider that position. You do have to be a regular member of ATP to be a secretary. These are the duties as outlined in the ATP website. Traditionally, and what we plan on is hopefully that the secretary moves up to vice chair and eventually chair of the division, but it is not a given, nor is it a requirement. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. We'll be sending out an email about the division meeting soon. The person who does become secretary attends leadership training and gets all kinds of support from the ATP office and from the current officers of the division especially. So I'm going to stop that share and come back to a few other things. I hope you've noticed that the Ed Division is quite active these days, and that you'll join us not just here, but we have 2 more roundtables coming up this week, tomorrow and the next day. And if you've not yet registered, please let us know, maybe in the chat. And Nina Hollis, who is on here from the ATP office, will share that with you. Okay, all the other things we'll be talking about, activities to do related to the language initiative, testing initiative, do not require you to be a member of ATP. So I want to encourage you to stay involved with that. So once again, creating a community of interest and action. Hopefully we get to that. So welcome to all of you, sharing the vision for the effort. We're next going to do a word wall because I want to hear from all of you where you see language and assessment as a factor in assessment. So not just the assessment of language, but the impact of language in assessment. Whether it's the test itself, the output and interpretation of the test, the way results are shared, all kinds of things I'm asking you to think about. And the first thing I'm going to do now is ask, Nina has put in the chat the link for the word wall. right under the volunteer interest form. If you would all please click on the word wall link at this time, and it will pop up for each of us. I put a couple, there we go. Thank you. What are the ways language is used in assessment? And just run free with it. Please go ahead. And if you see something up there, please enter it yourself. So it grows larger and gets more emphasis. Yeah, don't worry about spelling, please. One of those typos is me. Keep going. This looks great. All right. Wow. Anything else up there that you want to add to? If there's one up there that you see you like, please retype it so we can understand the emphasis. Life changing. Wow. Okay, let me talk about this and let you chat about it. Um, in the chat, if you see any patterns or have any ahas um, that surprise you or that you want to emphasize, please share them in the chat with everyone. Congratulations to the person who spelled translanguaging correctly. Thank you, Anna. All right. So a few takeaways that I see, and don't let me talking stop you from putting in the chat or adding to the word wall, is how language and assessment isn't just the assessment of language, that we have translation, reports, instruction, directions, um, understanding, as in, I'm going to take that to mean understanding the value of assessment and why are you taking this test? Um, thank you, ISPA. Looks like there can't be any modern formal assessment without the use of language. Cognitive load is important. Yes, certification. So we are an education division with a purview of pre-K to 20, to postgraduate. Uh, but it's obvious to me that language and assessment are also in our certification and licensure division and in our and in the other divisions as well as internationally. Um, there's nothing here that the person taking this assessment is in the United States and taking it as part of a school experience. We have to pay attention to language in all of these different ways and applications. Um, I don't know if you've noticed, but ATP has not put out a lot of product related to language and assessment, nor have we had very many presentations related to this issue at the ATP conferences, both here and internationally, although there have been some. And there will be a featured presentation on this topic at the ATP in Los Angeles. So I'm really excited about that. But I would like to encourage you to think about some actions that we can take with the support of ATP. And I don't know if I'll ask you to chat about this or if I'll just give you some ideas. Probably just, how about if I just give you some ideas, and if I miss something, put it in the chat, okay? That we have the opportunity to create white papers around these issues that are in the word cloud. We can hold coffee chats as a division or across divisions, industrial, organizational, all the divisions. As an division, we can find experts in these areas and put on webinars for you and others. We can encourage you and support conference sessions. I don't know if you're aware of ATP's scholarly journal, the Journal of Applied Testing Technology, in which we can to which we can contribute articles to inform the field about language and assessment. We can provide guidance and input. For example, I'm trying to riff on what I see on the word cloud, say about what should you consider when you're creating reports in terms of language? How does language impact, what is translanguaging's impact on assessment? As we produce assessments and as we explain assessments to our audience. I would prompt, part of certifying a skill, all of this. And I hope that there are some people in the audience, in the group here, who are saying, yeah, I can see myself getting involved in this or that type of activity. And that when we send around a follow-up message to all of you about what we've discussed here today, that you're willing to raise your hands and get involved in a group. I also, in my term as chair, though I will stay involved with this, my term as chair is ending the end of this year. And I would hope that there's someone here who would be willing to take this on as maybe a coordinator. There's all kinds of support in the ATP office and from the Ed Division in doing this. Nina Hollis, who is facilitating this this session, is posting in the chat, and she's available for help. I have a feeling that if we grow this enough, this really could and maybe should be a special interest group, a SIG within ATP, where we have our own activities and our own meeting space, and Nina just entered her email in the chat. So a chat on the impact of AI use. Thank you, Ispa. The panel that I put together in New Orleans is, let me think for a second. Diane Henderson from Amira, Alina Van Davier from Duolingo, and Avant with David Bong, from Avant, talking about innovation in language assessment. And I know that all three of them will be including the impact of AI within their assessments, which are more assessments of language development as foreign language, but some of them are moving into language proficiency as an academic approach as well. So ELL or bilingual programs within K-12 schools. So that may be of interest to you, but to have a special chat on that is a great idea. And I'm going to see if I can't copy that. Okay. To go back to, and Nina will save that word cloud for us. So to go back to my agenda. We've discussed now possible outputs of this group, and I've talked a little bit about next steps and roles. So we did the word wall. I hope there's a bit more chat that can happen about possible activities and outputs. And I've talked a little about next steps, that we're going to send a follow-up email to all of you and harness the amazing knowledge that exists within this group already. And let me see, we had 75 registrants and about 45 more people who signed up for this and couldn't make it today. Here is the contact information for everybody here, especially if you have questions about secretary. You may want to get in touch with Walt. He is our current secretary and will be becoming vice chair. And Debbie is leading the roundtable tomorrow, and Walt is leading the one on Wednesday. Are there any questions for me? As I get ready to wrap this up and move on, I hope I hear from you. You have my email now. Any further chats we should look for? I want to thank you for making time in your busy schedules, and oh, you're welcome, Michelle. Thank you for attending. I hope you get involved when we send out the interest form and the follow-up on this activity. The work that you and others have been doing at Alpha 21 is very important. SIG on language testing. Thank you. Am I focusing on language in assessment or language assessment? I'm focusing on both and even more, because it's not just the language in the assessment, but the language in the score reports, or when talking about assessment, or helping the community understand language in assessment. So I'm trying to cast as wide a net as possible. I really think that the impact of language in assessment has been ignored, not just within ATP. I'm not pointing out the finger there, but recognizing the importance of it, and the models that we can provide, and the best practices that we can share to raise the field and make it a more successful assessment experience for those who are taking the assessment and depend upon the results, and those who use the assessment results in other ways. You're welcome, Isba. Thank you. And I hope to meet all of you in person soon. That would be terrific. And I think we'll end the webinar. Thank you.